Hi guys, happy Wednesday. My name is Macy. I'm a senior psych major.
And my name's Jade, and I'm a junior with a psych major and a business minor.
And today is our Wellness Wednesday. We're going to be talking about anxiety. It's going to be a super casual conversation. We have some tea, and we're just going to be hanging out and then talking about our personal experiences with that. So when I think of anxiety, I think of like this, like I'm kind of doing like a spiral and I can't get all my thoughts together, or I feel just like this perpetual state of doom about the future, and I don't really know like why I'm feeling that way, or there's like no evidence to like really back it up. I'm just feeling like very like worried, I guess, in a worrisome state. When you were coming to college, how did you feel? Did you feel any anxiety like that?
Yeah, I think so. Coming to college my freshman year, it was a very new experience for me and like very different from what I'm used to. So I grew up in a small Christian environment. So I went to a very small school with like 19 kids in my graduating class, so very small. But it was I was very nervous coming to college because I knew it wasn't a great big school, and I knew I'd be in a Christian environment, but that still doesn't like take away the fact that I was going to be in a new place with new people. And I think it just really scared me because I've always been an extroverted person, but still going into this new place just really was terrifying for me. And so I definitely got the anxious feelings and just not knowing what to expect going into this new environment. And especially I'm from the Bay Area, so I'm about 6 hours away from home, so still like a little bit far. So not super close to home, so yeah, I think I definitely felt that. So how about you? What was it like when you first came to college?
When I was a freshman, I think I was experiencing a lot of the same type of feelings. I am also from a really small town, but it's kind of a lot different. So if you go out of like where I live, there's just like nothing else around it. Like it's just forest kind of, and so one, like moving to a very big city was causing me a lot of anxiety. I don't know, I just feel like I had a lot of culture shock, and then like moving away from people that I grew up with and like my family system, support system, everything like that, and then just like transitioning from that all at once, I think was really hard and difficult. And it's like, I think people tell you that your first year is really hard, but I don't think you really know how that feels until you get here. And so I think like knowing that ahead of time also created a lot of anxiety for me, and just like getting to the part where it was like, oh, I'm feeling anxious, I don't know like what to do about it kind of. But I think that there is just so much change in such a little time that it's hard to get adjusted, and you're seeing people on like my friends on like social media where they're like meeting friends faster, or there's like a lot of comparison that went on as well that like increased my anxiety too. So I just feel like there's nothing that really prepares you for the change, like it's just something that happens, but it's good to have ways that like coping that like works for you. And so I feel like I really utilized those in my first year, but it was definitely hard, and I definitely felt like, what the heck am I doing all the time?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Obviously, coming back to college, or coming to college for some, has been not the easiest transition after being online for the last 18 months. So what do you think you were most anxious about coming back to school post-COVID?
Honestly, so much. Like I don't think like this is such a unique situation that again like we didn't prepare for. We didn't have like a rule book of like what to expect, but I think like for me, I moved back home, and so there was a lot of like, I guess just a lot of stillness in the past 18 months where I was like living in my parents' house in my hometown, and I felt very much like high school me kind of come back, and I think that feels very comfortable, and that feels very just like safe, I guess. And so being back here again, being in a big city, I think I kind of experienced like how I was feeling freshman year all over again, except I knew like where the buildings were and like things like that. But I don't know, I think what I'm trying to say is that I got very comfortable at home, and I think where the most of my anxiety comes from is going from, like, 0 to 100, meaning that, like, I was not really with a lot of people, like, during quarantine and things like that, and then coming back to, like, fairly large classrooms and, like, seeing my professors in person and then also, like, living with people, and, I think just, like, adjusting to that and, like, being in the classroom setting is definitely, like, not what I'm used to now, which is such an interesting topic because that is something that's, like, so normal. I think I get anxiety about the fact that, like, I don't feel like that's normal anymore.
Yeah.
And I think just, like, trying to navigate that and, like, rewire my brain to be like, oh, wait, no, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like, this is totally okay that I'm here. So I think probably that.
Yeah.
What were you most anxious about coming back to school post-COVID?
I think I would have to say the social interactions. I think a big thing is because I left as a freshman, and so coming back, I had to, like, see everyone who I hadn't seen in, like, a whole year, or over a year even, and so it was just so weird. I was very nervous that, because, you know, people change over time, so I was really nervous that, like, maybe we had all changed, and, like, my friend group maybe had, like, drifted apart, or, like, you know, I was just nervous about what it would be like coming back, because we all have gone through such different experiences being in the COVID season. Like, for some people, it was just really hard. For most people, it was very hard, and so just, like, being able to adjust to, like, how everyone's feeling about that, and, like, being able to have those conversations, I think even, like, having conversations with people is not something that you really did when you were in quarantine, like, not face-to-face. So, like, having to be back and, like, even seeing new faces and being like, okay, I have to have an interaction with this person, like, even, like, being like, hi, like, I feel like when I first got to campus, I was, like, saying hi to, like, everyone, and I was like, I don't know if this is, like, kind of awkward, like, it was kind of awkward.
Know you.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, like, really, like, it was awkward at first because I was just like, I don't know, like, what the best way to go about this was, and, like, even when I was at home thinking about coming back to college, I was like, I don't know how to, like, have a conversation with people, and, like, I mean, I knew the basis, of course, but, like, it was just hard overall. And I think also realizing, like, there's so many events and things that happen on campus, and so after being, like, home, of course I want to get involved in everything,
Right.
but that also comes with, like, limits, and so I had to realize, like, my own limits and the boundaries that I had to set in place, and so being at home, just, like, thinking about those and being like, okay, Jade, like, you can't do everything, you can't get involved in everything, was just really hard for me because I was like, but I want to be involved, and, like, I don't want to be the girl who sits in her, like, room or whatever. So just, like, making sure that I set those boundaries for myself was really important. And, like, lastly, I think something was, like, being in, like, a physical classroom and, like, being, like, having to go from class to class, and, like, it's funny because, like, I have classes from, like, on East, and then I have classes on West, which most people do, and it's just so interesting because I didn't think about that when making my schedule. Like, I didn't think to, like, and so being like, oh, I have to go from, like, I have to, like, actually walk, I have to, like, actually, like, get the exercise, which is great, but, it's also just, like, hard because it's not like I can just hit join meeting on my computer. I have to, like, actually, like, make the effort to, like, get ready in the morning and, like, go, and, like, you know, it's just, like, I feel like a lot of that, like, just creates anxiety because you're leaving what you're comfortable with, and you're leaving, like, all of that and going into something that you haven't done in so long. So yeah, I would say that is definitely what caused the most anxiety.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everything you said I totally resonate with, and I feel like I have felt all of those as well. I don't think you're alone in feeling that. I think, like, when I've been on campus, I've noticed a lot of things, like, I get, like, really sweaty palms, like, more than I used to, or, like, I have anxious behaviors, like, I bite my nails sometimes, or, like, I play with my hair a lot, or, like, itch my arms when I'm, like, not itchy, things like that. Or sometimes, like, if I'm giving a presentation, like, I will get, like, super dry mouth. But I think especially, like, I portray, like, avoidance behaviors. Like, if I, and this is something that I didn't have to deal with over Zoom because we were just, like, not face-to-face. But if I run into contact with someone who I, like, have an important discussion that I need to talk to them about, or if I'm, like, having, like, friend drama or something like that, then I know myself enough to know that like I'm going to like turn away from that person if I see them gonna like go the other way. And I know that's something that's like a product of anxiety instead of just like confronting that person and like wanting to have an upfront conversation, but I know that I just kind of get nervous and like will go the other way. So I think those are like the biggest places that I see anxiety since I've been back at school, which I don't think I used to have since COVID.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I have felt all of those things being back. I've noticed something that I do a lot is like bite my nails or just like pick at my nails, and which is just so bad, and it's like just not great for me. So yeah, I definitely can relate to you in that. I think something that has really helped me with my anxiety has been focusing on breathing, because a lot of times when I'm anxious, I notice myself just like maybe like getting tense or like just like faster paced breathing, and so being able to be like, okay, like let's calm down and like just like focus in on that breathing has been really important. And also trying to pinpoint exactly what is making me anxious. I think a lot of times when we're anxious we can be like, oh, everything is wrong, like this is going wrong, this is going wrong, this is going wrong. Whereas like when we can say, okay, these are the things that are actually making me anxious right now is very helpful for me personally. And I think being able just to like understand like, okay, my feelings are valid, like this is a hard situation that I'm in, and so it's understandable why I'm feeling anxious about that. So I think that like just being able to understand where it's coming from and the root of it, and just being able to like even voice those opinions to other people and like or like voice those feelings to other people and being like, I am feeling not great, and like just being able to like, I'm a verbal processor, so being able to talk it through with somebody is just really helpful. So yeah, those are ways that have helped me. So those were just like some of the ways that I cope with my anxiety, but I think another thing that's really important and that people push a lot is mindfulness techniques. So I'm gonna take you through one of them that has definitely helped me.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited.
Okay, good. Yeah, so it's called the 5-4-3-2-1, and I'm sure you've heard of it. So basically, so put yourself in state, like, or just remember a time when you were feeling like pretty anxious and like maybe. No, you don't have to close your eyes. But just like try and remember a time when you were feeling really anxious and like maybe, and I know like some people have panic attacks, so like if you were maybe in that state, this is something that could help you. So the first thing I would ask you to do is list 5 things you can see. So you want to list 5 things you can see for me?
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say this mug is number 1. Table 2. I have a hair clip right here. 3. My water. Your mug. Is that 4?
5. I think that was 5. That was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna list 4 things that you can feel.
Okay.
So you can go ahead.
I'm gonna do my shirt. I'm wearing rings. I think like the chair that I'm sitting on. I feel like my shoes and my feet, like the clothes on my body.
Yeah.
The AC just turned on.
Yeah. Feel that? Perfect.
That's more than 4.
It's okay, you know? We can take more. Okay, and then 3 things that you can hear.
Fridge is running, AC is on, you talking.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, hearing someone's voice is also like something that can be really helpful. Okay, 2 things you can smell.
The tea, and then I feel like you have a candle.
Yes, perfect. And then something that is really helpful for me is saying one positive thing about yourself. So what's one positive thing you think about yourself?
I think I'm very empathetic.
Perfect. Yeah, so that is just some way that can help you kind of regroup and like ground yourself. So how are you feeling after that?
Much more relaxed.
Oh, good. Perfect. So it's working.
That was a really good exercise. I think I'm definitely going to use that. But ultimately, I think that anxiety is something that we all experience. It's just like a product of like being human and like going through life as just like fallen people. But it's good to know that like if you are experiencing anxiety, like it's not just you. I think like everyone experiences anxiety to some degree. Um, but I think it's good to know also, like for me, something that I've learned recently is that the goal of anxiety is not to like try to never have anxiety. It's like what you do with it, like
Yeah,
the coping mechanisms you use, or like how you spend your time, or like eliminate things that like cause you to be stressed out, or just like things like that. And I think that's really helpful to know. But I think like if you are needing like specific help with anxiety, like obviously call a counseling center, or I know that um, we have like our Cougars Care program, which in on November 5th we're like dealing specifically with anxiety. And so those are just some extra tools that I know that we can use.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys so much for coming to our Wellness Wednesday. We had a great time just talking about anxiety and being a little vulnerable today, just with our personal experiences. But yeah, so join us next week. And yeah, thanks for coming to Tea Time with Jade and Macy.